Welcome to Inclusive Workplaces, a series amplifying the voices of immigrant movers and shakers in the Finnish workforce. We cover inspiring stories of immigrants in Finland, uncovering strategies to break down barriers, and exploring how companies can build welcoming workplaces. All this amazing content is paving the way for a truly impactful publication that is coming soon. So get ready, because this one is going to be a game changer. But before we dive deep into that world-altering publication, let's talk action. Today's episode focuses on an incredible story on inclusive diversity hiring practices. Through our guest story, you will hear how you can be a champion for creating a more welcoming environment for your fellow international colleagues. Think of yourself as a workplace inclusion ninja, ready to unleash your inner advocate. Having the studio today, a conqueror, an innovator, and a Zen guy. Welcome to Inclusive Workplaces. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Mousa. Thanks for having me today. This is my first podcast, and I'm really excited to be here today. Yeah, I'm from Senegal, and I tend to call myself Afro-Fin. So I live, as long as I live in Finland, I live in Africa as well. So which means I'm like a global person nowadays. So I don't identify myself as a true African or as a true Finn. So I'm in between. So that's the transition I made in my life now. So that say I'm from Senegal, like really in the middle of Senegal, in a really hot place. And one might ask, what are you doing in Finland? Really cold. And this is the opposite of where I come from. 45 to minus 30 when I started in Finland. I mean, it's a big gap.
Yeah.
I came here first in the summertime. It was really nice. But then when the winter hit me, so it was just an eye-opening. And I still ask myself what I'm doing here today. But this is a country I love too much, and I settle really well. I always see myself as a Finn, and this is part of my integration process. I don't see the kind of, let's say, difference between me and the Finn. I think like them. I do like them. I express myself like them. I adopt a lot of good things from Finland. So that's why that Afro-Finn come from. So I'm father of two. I'm married to a Finnish wife for now over 17 years together. Living a beautiful life in this country, but still being an ambassador for where I come from. Want to support a lot the community. I'm really involved almost in many community activities in Finland. You might see me, recognize me. Maybe you don't know my name, but Mousa is the name. You will remember that next time. So I'm really happy to be here today to also be part of this integration and diversity movement.
And it's our honor to have you. Well, thank you for coming. It's an honor to be in your presence. I think that this is going to be a beautiful discussion. We've spoken briefly before, just to touch on some things. But let's start right from the beginning. So you're from Senegal. Which part of Senegal? How was life growing up in Senegal?
I mean, Senegal. I cannot pinpoint because I don't have the map, but it's the middle of Senegal, the hottest place in Senegal. The temperature is 45. I can tell you. But the change also, I come back to that. Like now, I call myself a Finn because like over 20, I cannot survive anymore. So that change is huge. But I'm from Kaolack. It's close to Gambia. It's a border with Gambia. So really type of rural area, small town.
That's great. I myself from Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is not as hot as 45 degrees Celsius, but after having experienced that some time when I was living in Namibia, I can imagine that that is it's very hot. But how did you find yourself in Finland? How did that?
I mean, that's a good story. Yeah. I mean, before Finland, even I travel a lot because Finland was the final destination for me. Because I went in France. My dad used to live in the 80s in France. And then I moved to Italy. But then Italy wasn't the place for me. So I go back to France, go back to Senegal again, twice to Senegal to just explore what I really want in life. And then I got a friend that I met in France. She was a Finnish lady. That's the story of my life. So I came to Finland to visit. That was actually in the summertime. It was nice. Finland summer is the best. But then when the winter hit me, and I realized, oh, that's something new. So I left and go back to France. But then I came back again. I fell in love with the country. And I realized, oh, this can be something for me to explore. So since then, I think it was I moved back around 2002, 2003, back to Finland, and since then I'm still here. I love this country, so I don't think I can move anywhere else than Finland. So yeah,
I mean, it is indeed a beautiful country, and I also had a similar shock because when I came to visit the first time, it was also in summer. But then when I moved here, it was deep winter. So that was always, and it's a different kind of winter from other European countries. You were in France before, I was in Sweden before. Finnish winter it's a special kind of winter.
Special, yes, definitely special. I think it can just break your heart if you're not strong enough. Prepared. Yes, exactly. Yes, yeah. But we are here now, and I didn't regret that choice. I think that was the best choice of my life. So,
And professionally, do you want to open up a little bit about the different steps that you've had before you came to Finland, and then finding yourself in Finland, and potentially maybe talking a little bit about how your integration process started?
Yeah. I used to be always an entrepreneur, and that's back in Senegal, because I remember after my study in the university, because I did like science politique before. I never thought that I will change it to a different field. Being a lawyer used to be my goal, but then the study process was too long for me, so I wasn't that passionate enough during that time. So I went to the art school also, because I'm an artist as background. I do a lot of painting. Through that, I created also a lot of network through my art. Integrated one company. It used to call Capicom. It's a telecommunication, and I used to be their marketing agent there, doing anything that is marketing around that company for at least 3 years. Then I opened my own company as a gallery, art gallery. So I used to have one in New York also, where I used to exhibit my art, and I have like a partner that is selling those art. After that, I feel like creativity was my thing. In my childhood, I used to draw a lot. I used to do graffiti. I used to have a business where like I do painting for whatever purposes it was. That was art, street art, whatever you name it. So I created like a group with the young generation that they used to live in my neighborhood that didn't have any opportunity. Support them during that time, where I can create contact and have some contract with some big company. For example, World Vision, I work a lot with them, and I work also with Inda Chairmont. I don't know if you know that organization. There was 1 year I did their like Christmas global card.
Wow!
I did that draft and sell it to them. So it was distributed to the whole world. That was my first bigger even gig as a small entrepreneur. Then from there, I realized, I need to be independent. So start like building different ideas. Europe never been in my head during that time, because of course in Senegal, I did a lot of things. I can tell you, from DJing, from being in the hip hop groups. Nice. And I shared that people were laughing. And I say, I did them because I used to tend to create this opportunity for myself. And maybe, I don't know if it's instinct of survival or what it is, but I was independent in that sense.
That's a recurring theme, actually, now in these conversations and these episodes, that it seems that even in the last episode, there's a creative background that led to an entrepreneurship and a drive that feeds into that. So it's similar in your case as well.
Yes, and of the story also, I think I built my confidence from that. And it helped me a lot to create a kind of large network inside Senegal, and also some partner outside Senegal as well. Because like I say, I work with a lot of organizations. I used to have organization myself that I led in Senegal. Then when I have the opportunity to travel, I never thought also Finland will be my destination, and still people are asking me why Finland. I don't have the answer, to be honest. But then when I came in France, I was studying textile design. So it's starting from there because I used to do also like this batik, like African textile art also. But I realized that like, yes, that's where I feel like I have my passions. I can express myself and I enjoy doing it. When I finished that study and I had the chance to move to Finland, my first reflection was, what do I need to do now? Because I went through quite many things. Like I say, in my background, usually when I put my CV, people are impressed and they are so surprised. And the first thing they ask me, how old are you? Usually that's what they will ask me. Because I did since my 16, a lot of those things. And when I came to Finland, and I was saying that the first thing that I need to do, because Finland was quite different, it was completely new to me. The society, it wasn't that open back in the day. And you needed to integrate quite fast because the Finnish was super high in that. Now it's quite easy for the new generation because many people are using English, many companies are doing that. I remember my first application after my study, I came here, I think I sent almost around 100 application, never got any answer or response or phone call for an interview. And that was a shock for me. Then I realized, oh, okay, reflection. So what do I need to do now? Because I know that I don't speak any word of Finnish. So I need to go learn that language. And of course, I used to like language also because I spoke like 4 or 5 before, Italian and Portuguese. And then I realized it should be quite easy. I dedicate myself for a full year. Then I say, I'm going to learn this language. That full year after that Finnish study, I mean, I don't say I spoke fluent Finnish, but I understood in that time quite a lot that I needed. It helped me also a lot. And after that, then I say, okay, the next step, what to do? I'm looking now for the job. I don't have job. So one thing I started like everyone. You start doing janitoring, cleaning a little bit because then you needed to do something. But I realized, okay, this is just a temporary thing. This is not going to be my life somehow. And I start searching, and then Googling to the design field, start looking the companies, and then Ikea came up somehow.
You see, and right there, it's for me, it's very interesting that you're you're a polyglot, right? And because you're a polyglot, you speak many languages. You also took the mindset that because people say Finnish is hard, but it's also good to have that mindset.
Exactly.
That, no, Finnish is not hard. I can do this. And then you re-strategized.
Exactly.
And focused on that. I want to now learn the language.
Exactly. And like I say, when you know French, because I think people tend to say French is romantic, it's nice. It's the most difficult language, to be honest, because of the vocabulary and the grammar. So when I start reading Finnish, and the similarities are quite close. It's just more or less in French, like there's some letter you don't pronounce in the word. In Finnish, you have to do it. But I learned that technique and start watching a lot of movies with the translation in Finnish. And I just like put it as a goal for me that this 1 year at least, if I can say one sentence in Finnish, I'm okay.
Good,
and lucky when I did the application at Ikea, because I did few applications, never get any answers. Then also there, I sit down and I reflect and I say, what are the other way to use if I want to integrate the work life? If application doesn't get me through, what else?
Exactly.
So then I would say that, okay, let's try the internship. And I ask them, okay, do you know what? I have this background. I send them my CV. I'm an interior designer. I would like to come practice a little bit, to learn a little bit more. Is it okay for you, for example, if I can just come for 6 months? And that 6 months also was the key, because after joining the work life, I realized that short-term internship is not good when you are looking for like a permanent job in a company, because you need to be longer there for the company to acknowledge your expertise, to see you, what you can bring to the company. Maybe then people will start appreciating and say that maybe, okay, this dude, we need him.
Yeah. Were there any other companies besides Ikea when you were because you said you did your background checks and you were identifying spaces where you could use your skills?
Yeah.
Was there anything other than Ikea?
I mean, I did serigraphic in one small company. It was a family company owned by a Finn and a Thailandese, and they used to do scarf on glass. So I used to help them with that because, of course, I have also like a graphic communication background. So I did that for a few months with them, but the company was small, and I realized, of course, then if I need to do that, I need to combine it with many other jobs. So, and I don't want to have that kind of lifestyle.
Exactly.
Ikea was on top because of the values of the company. I think, like I say, I read also a lot about the company values because it helps you also to integrate the company easily if you know what is their objective and a goal in society, not in the business side, but then on the total society. What is the belief there? And those values, of course, you can find them in the internet. Our founder, Ingvar, talk about a lot. The testament of a furniture dealer. If you go through that, you can find those values also there. And there's a similarity of what I believe also. And it was kind of eye-opening for me because then in that time, I didn't know that I will advance in this. My career path will pick up this. I don't say high because I don't like that word high.
You're being humble.
Yeah, but it gave me opportunity to be in those position that myself I wouldn't expect in the first place.
What were because you said the values of Ikea and your values aligned,
yes,
and that was an important thing for you.
Yes.
Which of those values stood out the most for you?
I mean, there's the humbleness. I think that's one of the things because humbleness is everything. Because if a company work toward being humble, so there's something behind. There's a good foundation. Also bring a little bit attention, and they have also another value that called togetherness, because our society in Africa, togetherness is everything.
Exactly.
Because we help each other, we support each other, we are there for each other. And Ikea today, I think the biggest value at Ikea today is the togetherness. All the social action done by the foundation, and even people working at Ikea have the opportunity also to be part of these social actions. For example, like me nowadays, I'm more like turned to the diversity, equality, and inclusion. Inclusion. So I'm supporting and I'm really active there because, of course, like we need to be ambassadors if we want to do the changes. We cannot just ask for changes and we don't react or we don't participate on those changes.
Exactly.
So that mindset also is in the company, and they support that quite a lot.
And since your entrance there through that first initial 6 months, what was the situation then? And how do we start progressing to your participation within that change?
Yeah, I mean, first thing first, when I enter, and I have this was for me the biggest chance of my life because I did the 6 month first because it was like that. Then it was, I think I was lucky also they had a big project during that time. So when the project was over, another project opens. And they wanted me to stay to help them because they already knew what I can provide and what I can do. I did the second one, which means I have to prolong now, but then this time it is a contract I signed with them. So I was super happy. And of course, I gave them a challenge with, I remember that manager I used to had during those time, we did the challenge that because my Finnish, of course, I needed to practice a little bit more. I was saying that from now, then let's do like this. I'm gonna speak English to you, and you do it like the opposite way. You speak Finnish to me. So we help each other because her English wasn't that great during that time. So we help each other. And nowadays it's a laugh when we sit down in a meeting, and our meeting mostly are in English. So, and I was like, do you remember those times when we have to use English, me and you? Yeah, it was really fun time, and she's a really great person. But then the second part was like the objective, because when I entered it, I already know the objective and my goals. Like I say, like when you have that opportunity, also set yourself those goals ready. I set the goal really high. And I was saying that like, this is what I would like to do. I want to grow fast in this company, and I need to have an open mind with people.
Yeah.
So I have this slogan I use all the time. Like, if you don't invite me, I will invite myself.
Yeah.
And it's stuck now at Ikea nowadays. People are always laughing to me when they heard about that. So, and I have that kind of mindset. Like, I open the door myself in many ways, because you don't wait for those opportunity to come toward you. You have to sometimes make the first step.
Exactly.
So I knew in that period that this is what I want to do. This is like the career I decided to do. So what are the steps? Then I go through the company strategy, the growth plan, and everything. And I see as an employee. So if I want to do the next step, what are the support and the tools I have in place that can help me to go to the next step? And they were all there.
Okay.
So yes, and I reach out to people, ask them, would you like to be my mentor or something like that? Being really active to them.
Yeah.
And in, let's say, my growth plan was almost every 3 years. It was set in a way that like I learned the assignment in the first year. I start doing something about it. Then the third years I will be growing. And whenever a new assignment arise, I'm ready.
Yeah.
And I was having that mindset that like I didn't get scared about like when, for example, when I see like, oh, we have an open job there, then I say, yeah, this is something that I could be applying. And it went that way. And I was having that confidence. Of course, that part of that confidence helped me quite a lot.
Yeah. I think that's a very good thing, because first, one of the recurring stories here is also that people are. You have to be proactive,
yes,
and you have to be aware of your targets as you move forward.
Exactly. Yes.
And in your case, I also hear something that is very important for companies to realize, and not maybe just the companies, but also the teams to realize that when you receive a great talent, the support of the team, whether that might be a mentor or somebody to spar with in terms of language, makes a difference. Not in the sense of saying that, we're helping this person. This is a mutually beneficial transaction, because you're gaining something both ways.
It's like that investment you need to do also on people. Yesterday we had our company party, and I was sitting with the CEO. We started at the same time when I started. We just went through the kind of reminiscing the old days. And I would say, do you remember when we started first? And he was the one that gave me my first chance. Because like after, like I say, those assignments I had, they see on me really good potentials, like you say. And I remember during that time that my old manager, now she's not anymore there, she's in a new company. They discussed, and I say, like, why not like we take some time and send Mousa to do a couple of projects outside Finland to increase a little bit his experiences and knowledge. And they invest that time on me. And I didn't regret it. And I always say to him that, like, if I'm here today, it's because you believe on me. And of course, it's also what I show to them also that create that kind of opportunity as well. So which means like you say, it's give and take.
Exactly.
You have to give something to be able that people can realize and recognize that kind of potential on you.
Exactly. I think management has a very central role in managing diversity. I mean, it's been proven and researched, diverse teams are more innovative, more productive if it's managed well, and deliver, they tend to deliver beyond expectations. The fact that you had this kind of leadership within your team, in addition to the fact that you were delivering on your end, how do you feel that was supporting your strategy to grow every 3 years?
I mean, like I say, like, because I already had this idea before even I started there in the first place, because I didn't know exactly what kind of opportunity I will find there. But then when I start, like, let's say the work, then I realized that, there's even global opportunity that even raised a little bit more awareness on me. Then I start looking and I say, yes, we have this in this function, because usually you have one function, let's say if it's the IT, you're a specialist on one thing. It's going to be only that one thing. But then in the present, in the design team we used to have a graphic team, we used to have the visual merchandiser team, interior design team, then we have the activity teams, then we have the expansion team. That already gave me a lot of possibility. Then I was starting how do I even go through this navigate? And that was like a clever choice for me because I didn't want to jump any state. So the step was like, I'm going to do this. The next one will be that. The next one will be that until I did them all. There was a moment that I just go to the top there. There wasn't anything left. Then I started looking in the global position. So is there anything for me? And I always talk it with my manager because I'm super ambitious on things. And usually, like I say, I used to set that goal of 3 years kind of challenges.
Representation is important.
Exactly. And they knew it because and back in the day, I think I was the only one in the whole entire company that have that mindset because I was more mobile. Also, because usually this is the difficulty with many Finns. So if they tend to live in a really cozy space, they don't want to get out of that space. So if you call me today and say, oh, Tampere, then I will go to Tampere.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how long I'm going to be in Tampere until I say, oh, no, Tampere is not anymore for me. Then I say, okay, the next step, where it is. So then Raisio. And I did those.
Yeah.
Been in Tampere for 2 years and a half, in Raisio for 3 years.
Yeah.
I've been in Kuopio.
Yeah.
So it provide also, it helped me also because then you know that like when they know that you are that mobile and you're not scared to take challenges, you have more opportunities.
Yeah. So you need to be open to the growth opportunity as well.
Exactly. And I think that's also where many people are stuck because, yes, you have that kind of comfort zone where like you just don't take any risk. And growth and risk are kind of correlated. You need hand in hand. You need to take those risks if you want to grow. And lucky I had that chance also to do that, and I did a lot of global project as well, supporting the Nordic expansion team in Oslo, being there, supporting also all the country that we can support. So it create kind of a network also, and that network also is super important when you have to think about career wise, like. The network is the key.
Yeah,
Networking is the key, and I create also that kind of global network also with the company. So mostly, I mean, most of the Ikea, even in the upper level, they know who is Mousa.
Hey, this is great. This is amazing, and I think that the fact that you are. And you haven't even said what you're doing and what your title is in Ikea.
Yes.
We'll get to that.
Yes.
But I think that a lot of people out there sometimes don't realize that there are people of color that have been here for a long time and that have been making moves.
Yes.
Now you've been in positions of doing a lot of things. I will not say them. I will let you explain them yourself. So you've been now all over Finland. You've been to a couple of global offices. How did you then start to think about the changes you started making when you got back here?
I mean, the changes, first thing first is, I mean, I will tell you when I experienced, when I start my manager role, and that was a shock for me. You know, as an African, we are so direct. When we feel things or we want to say things, we say it as it is. My first team, the first clash I had was, just give feedback like I told. And that lady was crying that day. and somebody came to me and I said, like, do you know that like one of your employers is there crying? And I said, really? What happened? And they explained it to me. Then I said, okay. Then I call her, like the whole thing's cooled down. Next day, call her and say, just ask what happened. And she was honest also. The way I gave the feedback was like a little bit not too polite or too, you
Hamburger.
have to, yes, somehow you have to soften it a little bit. And I say, okay. And I reflect on it. And it happened a few times. And I realized, yes, then I need to change something. Maybe it's me at the end of the day. Of course, it's a clash of cultures. That was the first shock. And the first thing I changed, and I said that like I need to start thinking how the Finn thinks, adapting a little bit the way I spoke to them, And of course, even if I have in my original idea what I want to say, but then I need to find a different way of saying it because people are different. That was a big learning for me, how to handle people in Finland.
And that's good. Even we were just talking about that in Finland in general, you might not even get a lot of feedback.
Yeah.
The fact that you were even giving the feedback I think is a plus. But obviously, as you say, the change is not only to happen on the other side, but there's some changes that you need to do yourself. Because even for me, I had to learn that giving feedback is a hamburger process.
Yes.
You know, first you start off soft, and then you deliver what you have to deliver, and then you end off soft, and then the messaging.
Yes.
But again, it's a matter of communication.
Communication. Yeah.
So as you move forward now with these, now you're managing teams, and you're realizing that there are these different cultures and different nuances within how teams work together and innovate. How did you then start building this new model of a team being led by a person who also had to adjust towards it?
Yeah. I needed to be open because, of course, when you lead, you need to listen. And of course, it was quite difficult for me because, of course, as being in a key role, and you know the objective of the company, and you know how to get there. But then you have to face a team where like you need to be really careful to explain them different way, technique, how to get there. Because sometimes you could come and say, hey, this is what we do, this is, and that's it. But it's not that simple. So you have to adjust a little bit. Whatever you know, just forget about it. It will help you as a background, but you are now in a different situation. You can use it anywhere in the society when you immigrate, because it's part of integration as well. We haven't touched that, but integration means also you adapt a little bit to the new society, how the society acts, how they live, how they behave, how things are kind of said sometimes, because it's usually, like I say, sometimes we can be quite rude in Africa.
Straightforward.
Yes. And it's not rude, but they tend to see it as a rude way of saying things. But then that was like the first thing I realized, that after having a couple of clash with people, and I said that, yes, I need to start like learning a little bit how to communicate in a better way. Because it's never enough to adjust or to learn more about communication.
So the diversity, equity, and inclusion started within yourself as part of your integration. And then you became a leader.
Yes.
And
And like I say, I tend to say I'm Finn because I adopt a lot of Finn kind of behaviors. Then the softness also start kicking is because like we are like because when you work with me, the first thing you realize that he's so focused. People tend to say me that because I'm not distracted at all, because people sometimes it give them also a signal that I'm not approachable. That I get feedback quite a lot because I put 100 something on my work, and that focus sometimes is a little bit hard for Finn. Actually, in my team, they used to be a little bit scared to come to me straight. Then I start realizing that why no one is coming sometime to ask me, because the one problem I have one lady was because I used to be a specialist in visual merchandising, know a lot about layout and stuff, and I used to ask them like, when you have like this project and you do the project pre-study and then you have a draft, run it through me, then I can prepare you a little bit before you go to the high management, because there I'm not anymore the team boss, I'm like in the high management position, so there I will question quite a lot, and sometimes my questions are super
straight.
And they don't look it as something positive toward them, and they feel a little bit frustrated because then they say I'm their manager, that's they think, and that way I should be there to support them. But then I used to have different role as a manager. I sit in the steering group. I used to sit in the commercial team. So when I'm there, I'm part of the business team, not like my function team.
Exactly.
And they used to mix that, and of course I have to clarify these things that like, oh yes, when I'm in the design team, I'm your manager, but then there I can prepare you before we go to the next meeting, because there I'm not anymore the manager. I'm like the whole business.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the view will be more about the business.
Exactly.
It's not about what you do, but if that what you do will help the business, we are in the same page. But if it doesn't, I will challenge you there.
Yeah.
And they didn't like those challenges.
You know, I had a conversation with I'm not going to mention a name. This was actually an interview, and she mentioned that sometimes sometimes when you're choosing people for leadership roles and they're great specialists in what they do, you always have to weigh the individual's ability to switch in that role, because sometimes creatives or specialists might feel stifled when you have to lead.
Exactly, and that's then coming back to the change you were asking. That was the first thing that I realized, that I need to drop my specialist role. It was eye opening there, because it was eye opening there, and I say like, oh yes, I cannot be now the specialist there. Yes, definitely I need to maybe let the specialist role down, and I'm a manager now. It hurt me quite a lot, because I'm a detailed person. I'm really into detail, and I realized I needed to be super flexible there, even though I can see some gap sometime, but let it go. Maybe that's where also your role is, like you need to develop them to see those. So I changed that during that period as well. And it helped me also to start understanding the different skill of people, because then sometimes we tend that, okay, when you know something, you think that everybody knows it. And you forget about how some people are in the learning phases, some that are they maybe know something, but not everything, or they cannot see the big picture. And then I realized, okay, this is what I would do next. So I start even talking with my other manager, like that team, because I have visual merchandising manager and interior design manager. So I used to go to them straight, and I asked them, okay, your team, this is what I would like you to focus on them. And I already know what is the gap there, what they need as a support. And I talk with them, and I say, try to work on that and make sure that, like, if this is happening again, fix it before it arrives to us. So it created a little bit now that kind of trust at the end. So the sub-manager will do their roles, their task. They will inform me all the time when they need my support. Then of course, they always know my expertise, but they always ask me, come check this. Do you want to say something about it? Then of course, and I say, do you want me to be the manager or the expert?
I think you can never avoid that part.
Yeah, I mean, it's always there. And it has been there for me since then, because like I say, I love details. I'm super into that perfection type, but sometimes now we have this kind of slogan that 80% is enough. Yeah.
And I mean, one thing that you bring up there that I also think is very important is that people forget that when you're talking about inclusion and diversity and equity, it's not only about managing international diversity. There's diversity even within the local team. In your just in your team, there's a lot of diversity, equity, and inclusion. But now you start moving forward this diversity, equity, inclusion. And this is a place where you play a very central role now within the organization. If you would like to maybe now open up about what your title is and what exactly that you're doing and in what space, and maybe open up more about how you're working in that space.
At the moment, I'm in the business development team as let's say it's like the headquarters of Ikea. So we don't do, like I'm not in the physical store. We do expansion mostly, and I'm a country project leader. So which means if you see a new Ikea, I'm mostly the one building it with my team. So we also have I run also a design team, because I'm in the retail establishment section, where like everything that can go to Ikea retail, we design it.
Okay.
And we implement it.
Wow.
So that's the role I'm doing now. But then my background used to be a country visual merchandiser, doing all like solution you see in the stores.
Wow.
Somehow.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then the ratio thing I told you, I used to be the communication and interior design manager on that store.
Wow.
So quite a lot of role. That's just to highlight few of the role I've been through. But of course, I've been in the global expansion. My last assignment was in Malmö with the Swedish organization as the store of tomorrow that we were supposed to build there as a retail establishment. We call it the home furnishing retail design. I used to be the project manager of that team. So
that's great. I used to live in Malmö myself before. It's a beautiful place.
Malmö, yes,
I think, I mean, if I remember correctly, the founder of Ikea himself, Inga Bergman, had an international background. Ingvar Kamprad.
Yes,
he also had some international background. Ikea right now in Finland is actually recognized as one of the most diverse workplaces.
Exactly.
How did you guys get to that level?
I mean, like I say, is the background, because I had the chance to meet him. I wish I could have shared that picture, and I was young in that picture, where like he came to visit us in Vanta. In that time, I was working in the Vanta store. The first time I met him, when you meet your big CEO, it's like kind of like you are like nervous. Yeah, when he came straight to me. Yeah. And that was something for me. He came straight to me and he hugged me, and he was leaning on me the whole time. Yeah. And I was thinking maybe it's because he's old and he cannot stand that long. But that wasn't the case. Then suddenly we, all of us as a coworker, we ran to take a chair like this. He didn't want to take the chair. He wanted to sit down on the floor. Imagine.
On the floor?
On the floor.
Wow.
Yeah, that's also like when I say humbleness, it starts from there. Everybody was standing and to give a space, but he sat on the floor. Then I go on the floor also. So then we start talking, and he said something really important there. But in his business, he doesn't see coworker; he see a community, and he's starting from the one that cleaned the whole office area. And he was saying that those people are super important for his business, because if that person don't do their work, you as a manager or whoever, you won't be in your office because your office will be dirty. So he see everybody equal in that sense. So he is already building a community where we don't see hierarchy in general, even though we have different titles. But like I say, then the togetherness come, because then when you go to our business, we don't have this hierarchy that, okay, I'm a boss, I'm just sitting there and let them do the work. Everybody roll their sleeve. And that's the idea from that. Is like where he come from. It used to be a poor village. They didn't have nothing. And that kind of mindset, I mean, we know that in Africa, when you come from nothing, I mean, you build strong things usually because you have some ambition, you have some drive. Yeah.
And you have foundation.
And they still believe to those foundation. And that's the foundation that built the company we are working today. And those were like really important for me. And he sees like a diversity, like the thing, because like, of course, a different mind, like you say, you cannot, because if we would think the same, I think we cannot progress on any things. I will agree every time on what you say. Yeah. But then if we can challenge each other, and that's the diversity bring also those challenges, because as an African coming here, I have different background, I have different way of thinking, I have different way of seeing things.
And instead of looking at that as a hindrance, we should actually be taking advantage of these differences in ways of thinking, and because it opens different opportunities and solutions.
Yeah, of course, we still have some challenge that we want to address and want to fix it, because of course, like say, we have a lot of diversity, but then when you go to the next level, it's like to the management role, then the diversity is not represented there that much. But of course, diversity here in Finland, since Finland is a new country for immigrant, it's not like France or other countries. So still they are learning, because like in the management, mostly you might see a lot of Finn, but it's not because like they are not open, because it's just a new thing for them. Exactly. So they need to start learning. And like I say, our role is like to create this opportunity for the rest of the immigrant. Like when I studied in Vanta, I used to be mostly the only black there. But today when I go there, I'm super proud. I see a lot of brothers and sisters there. I always discuss with them, and I always tell them, like, if you have any need or like if you plan to maybe grow at Ikea, just give me a mail.
That is beautiful. And I think that's a very important thing that we're also trying to explore within this podcast, right? Is that for those of us who manage to enter the room, how do we keep the door open for others that are also looking for those same opportunities? Because, as you say, Finland is not traditionally a country of immigration. So the diversity will start showing up at different levels with time. Because even at leadership levels, to get to leadership, you need a lot of experience. So we're still young. So here you are, you're inside, and you're advocating for more diversity within the company. Speaking from my own experience, is that the representation that you are, you can't jeopardize that.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Because the opportunities that you're holding represent a community. So even your selection in that is a very serious thing. How have you been able to navigate that?
I mean, I always say to myself, I'm an ambassador. Because like I say, whatever we do will impact whoever is coming next. If we represent really well ourselves and we show to people diversity is good for you. And open, I think usually one thing I realize now is when people start knowing, because it's lack of knowledge that usually is the kind of the hindrance or the barrier of people thinking about, okay, do we need to open to foreigners or something like that? But I have this politic that I'm always, no matter what forum it is, I always tell my background, who I am as a person, how proud I am. I don't see difference in people. I always show the best of me all the time. I set already some standard there for the people, for all the immigrants. Because if I act really bad, of course, I might give a bad ideas about we don't trust these people because for example, Finns love to be on point with time, never be late.
Yeah.
If they do 100, I do 150. Because usually that's my goal always. Whenever people are doing 100, I do 150.
Does that not get tiresome sometimes? I mean, obviously you want to deliver for yourself, and with the realization that you're carrying, you're carrying the responsibility of a community also behind you. How do you balance your work and life, your work-life balance there as a person who is representing a whole?
I mean, like I say, I'm lucky that the wife I married is she's working in the same company. She knows that reality.
Yeah.
And we usually do the same. I think I'm invested as much as she's invested also in this because like I say, we do it as a mission because we are quite a famous couple in Ikea in a way that how engaged are we? And that was also, even today we were talking the same because one of our neighbor also is interesting about this integration topics. And they were talking, and she was telling her she didn't consider herself as a Finn. There's already some change in the mindset already there. And I think that mindset change, that's where also we need to be more stronger. And we need to be proud also to share who we are. Because sometimes we feel like when we go to a company, we're a little bit scared of expressing ourselves because people might see it a little bit weird, and then you might be not comfortable around, or you might think that okay, they might not need you up there, and that's it.
I remember we actually touched on that in our pre-conversation. The idea that sometimes if you are too scared or shy or too humble, it might not always work, and in certain cases even. Let's say you're a specialist, in your case, you're a specialist. Sometimes being too humble as a specialist can come off as arrogance. How do you find that balance?
I mean, I got that a lot because like I say, I'm super proud of myself. That's one thing that people always are amazed of it. They always ask me, even yesterday I had a lot of discussion with colleagues and they always go to that direction and asking you, how do you feel in Finland? And they don't think that, oh yes, I'm like you. that's just enough. I'm like you. I'm free like you. I act like you. I consider myself that I don't see the differences. You might see it, but I don't. And maybe you can call it arrogance or whatever it is, but in my work also, I want always to show that okay, I can do better than you. It's not arrogance. It's just being more confident. Yes, and that helped me a lot always in discussion because I'm not scared to say what I think or how I feel. Even though with my boss also yesterday we had the same discussion with one of my colleagues. They're I don't know, it's not shy, but they're scared to tell their own opinion. And usually when I enter to a team, the first thing I will tell them, I am this type of person. When you work with me, this is the type of character you will meet. Don't get surprised when this happens. I'm so straight on my ideas, and I will say what I want to say and how I want to say it. If I want to give you feedback, don't worry. You will hear the feedback from me straight because I don't go surrounding or talk it with teams. And it's always surprised some people. And I say, but that's me as an individual. So then, and of course, we always can adjust and learn from each other.
I mean, that's a good way to manage expectations. I mean, to present yourself as your genuine self and then let people receive that the way that they want.
Exactly.
I can say one thing that I used to struggle with in the beginning, and this is a cultural thing, was the expectation to maintain eye contact in an interview setting. And that is because it was, in our culture, and in certain cultures, it could be considered maybe aggressive and stuff like that. Here, it is considered an issue of trust. So my hack was that I would look at somebody's forehead, but just above, just in between the eyebrows, and it would look like I'm maintaining eye contact, but it was my way of showing up and hacking that situation so that it works to my best. But slowly but surely, I started looking in the eye and everything went. So in terms of like interview setups, because I know we had this conversation, you've interviewed a lot of people. What kind of advice would you give the community in terms of, it doesn't need to be anything big. Interview. So you shop for an interview. If you want to deliver, if you want to open the door that you want to open up, what should they remember if they were to come for your interview?
I mean, I'm gonna just put myself in that spot. Like usually, I'm always relaxed. That's the first thing, because like when you panic, you don't get your idea straight. Because of course you might prepare yourself in the certain degrees, but then if you don't have that kind of composure, you're not calm, you're not like ready as a person, it won't go well. And I see a lot of those things where like when you sit and you meet for the first time people you never met before, news, some might be quite intimidated, and that can kind of maybe destroy the whole preparation. Like I say always, when you don't know thing, you don't know. You don't try to create anything you don't know. And if you're ready also, you know. Because like I say, when I used to do interview, I know people tend to prepare themselves so long and just try to nail all the, but I realized many companies, when they hire people, they already know the skill they need. When they read your CV, they already know your skill. So what else is left for them to know? It's you as a person. And when I do interview, I don't care about like anyway about the task I'm looking. I'm gonna see like if this person is someone I can work with, and then you need to tell about yourself. And I think that if you can convince and win already certain point there by just being yourself, because that character will tell easily to if you're like flexible to think, what kind of person are you complex or open-minded, are you able to take feedback, and those things like the joy you put into the room create also that team spirit. And I would like to have a team that where like I know that when I sit with you, we're like a friends and we can just, but not like, oh, you're a super professional, but you're so stiff. Exactly. And then I was like, I don't need you in my team. And I had like a few occasions with people, and even there was one I told you last time. There was one guy, I don't remember what country, but he's a mixed African and a Finn. I wanted to hire him so badly because I was looking for a graphic communicator for like 6 months with one project. And there was a lot of Finn, even one from Australia. Then I read all the CV. I don't know, yes, they all graphic. They all know the software. They can do print or whatever it is. But what else I need from them? But he was so shy to even talk about himself. And I was it hurt me a lot because I wanted to know a little bit more. I wanted to see that activeness and being proud, and I didn't see it, and it hurt me that I couldn't take him because I expect more from the person, not the skill, because I know that like whatever you get the knowledge, you will get more because we support people for trainings and stuff like that. But I wanted something from that person, and usually if you don't nail that, you're reducing your chance in interview.
So it's definitely also because I mean we communicate our skills through the CV. The interview is about hearts and minds, right? So you need to be able to deliver yourself as an individual who can work within a team.
Exactly. Yes.
That's I think that's really good advice.
Yeah, it is. And I think people forget and they focus always on the assignment. And they want to show that, oh, they know this, they're really skillful, they do this. But at the end of the day, many of the managers, they will know that when they see your CV already tell them, because those are facts. But then the other factor that is just not tangible, like how do you show it? Because you cannot write it on your CV, but you have to express yourself through that. because as a manager, we have different way of reading people. Like I say, this eye contact is also that how do you react when you talk with people? It's really important that like you are like that kind of, you know, that you can express yourself. That's one thing, because if you cannot, then many assignment, maybe when we talk about presentation, how do you present things if you cannot even talk about yourself? Exactly. So those are a really good thing to remember when you go to an interview. Like when you know things, you are set, you're ready. You don't have to create anything. It will come naturally. Like it's always myself. When I talk things I'm really passionate about it, I don't need to write anything about it, because I say, if I don't know it, I don't know it. I'm not going to lie about it. Yes, but then I will be honest also, because honesty is good, because then they will know that, okay, there's improvement there. So maybe you don't know it, but then it's okay. We have tools to support you on that. That's also one honesty that, like, as a manager, I always look, because I know that, like, if you lied to me, I would know. Then when it comes to the business, then if that happened, then I would be really stupid not noticing it in the beginning, because then you will look also stupid as an employee.
Exactly.
Because then you weren't quite honest about things. But the honesty will help you also to grow, because then as a manager, I will look opportunity also to grow you, because I know that, okay, this gap there I need to fill. But I can do it, because then that open-minded, that's what I'm looking. Are you able to?
Are you able to even acknowledge the fact that you need help?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
I mean, this conversation is so rich, and I feel like we could go on for hours. But here we are. You work in a company that is founded on the principle that diversity is a win. Then you come in with a mindset that is structured, that is proactive, and that is, to a certain extent, no nonsense as well, and which is absolutely fine. I love the fact that you identify yourself as an Afro-Fin, because I also identify myself as an Afro-Fin, and that is an identity that says that, yes, I do have a background and a heritage, but I also have adopted this identity, and they can coexist and enrich each other. Now, as we come to our closing, I think I would just ask maybe that you could share with the community your most valuable lesson through this whole process, and what your next 3-year plan is.
Yes. And I think one thing that we touched it last time, but maybe we didn't talk it too much, is like we all come here with a huge expectation from where we come from. And I think that's the first kind of hindrance for us as an immigrant, because like we come from a family, maybe it's not that let's say financially it's not set, and you want to support. So that goal is super high on our agenda all the time. And if you have that kind of mindset, I mean, you're losing quite a lot of opportunity in integrating and growing. And if you want to do a professional career, to take the step-by-step development. And I will ask to my follow. Of course, people have different situation. I cannot say this is the best way to do it. But then, if you want to grow as a professional, I think that's the first mindset I will challenge.
We even spoke about it before, this understanding that yes, I'm an individual as well. Despite the responsibilities that might be expected of me, I need to be able to focus on me too. I think that's a beautiful
I mean, it's always, because it will help you give yourself that time, because like I say, I did that kind of journey where I know that I have a lot of responsibility, because I'm the eldest in my family. You know, there's a lot of responsibility on me, but at the same time would like to build something for me. So you have to create a balance there, because if you fail, then you're not supporting anyone. So, and I think that's the first step I need to challenge. Like, try to succeed, then maybe the help will be more easier. But if you miss that step and you fail, I mean, you cannot help anyone.
And that's a very central role in terms of having a good work-life balance, so you're actually able to move forward and help better.
Exactly. And have this consistent, substantial, I don't know, whatever you call it, goal that will help you, maybe a kind of a permanent solution that like would be that you will kind of do something for yourself. At the same time, you support back home everyone you want to support.
Yeah.
But then like next career, I mean, it's already, I'm already in expansion, and I would like to continue with the expansion because like I say, it's a different assignment.
Yeah.
I'm an interior designer as a background, but today I learn a lot about construction, which is out of my field because now the project I'm doing is touching almost everything, like renovate, let's say parking renovation. I never thought I would do that.
Parking renovation.
Yeah, parking renovation, talking about asphalt, EVs and stuff like that. And those are extra kind of knowledge I would like to get. Like I say, I'm full of challenge. I would like to challenge my limits.
Yeah.
Knowledge is not enough. I mean, you can set a goal wherever you want to be today. If you want to learn, you will always learn. I am like expanding a little bit the knowledge to different fields nowadays because like whatever is construction, quite, I mean, this last 2 years, I know more than I know before. So it's helping me also because I have my own company, which is a design company also for Africa.
Wow.
And I do house renovation and then interior design. So this is also something for the future because I'm preparing myself back. If I go back one day to Africa, then I want to implement my business there. I have the background I needed.
Exactly. You have maintained a true north throughout your whole journey.
Yes.
I think that's a beautiful way to close this conversation. And I'm really happy that we could have this conversation.
Thank you.
I'm really looking forward that one day also you'll write a book because I think that you have a lot to share.
Yeah, I'm always like, I talk a lot when I meet people, and they are always so somehow. And I think the truth that I always create connection, and I open a little bit of the people mindset that even if we're different, we might be similar in many things.
Absolutely.
Yes, in many things. It's just get to know the people.
Yeah.
Maybe it will benefit you more. Exactly. And then that openness is really the thing. We have to make the step. We don't need to wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I close it there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me today.
No, thank you so much. Yes. So just to close up, all right, just to have a recap, this has been one of the most insightful conversations that we've had. I really, really hope that people can take the best parts of out of this conversation and try to reflect on those parts from their own experiences as well. Yeah. I've learned a lot. Yeah. And I think that we learned very much there that inclusive diversity and hiring practice aren't just about companies themselves, but immigrants have a very central and crucial role to play in there. Yeah. And those of us that manage to get into those positions where we do have to make those hirings as well. Yeah. Of course, we do them with the knowledge that we want to hire the best people for that job. Yeah. But I think we can still play a role in making sure that there is representation, whether that representation is different thoughts, different skills, different people, it can come in different ways. But for me, the conversation that we just had, you are such a compass and you've maintained your true north. You are aware of all of the others, but you genuinely have a way of being not only able to steer yourself, but even through this conversation, I think that you have the power to steer the community as well. So to close it off, I would say that you are an innovator, you're a conqueror, you are Zen, but I also think you're a compass. Thank you very much for this conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.